Good morning, boys and girls. Mr. Baxter's Learning Channel is the place to be. And you found us. We're here all together. Today is our learning video for Wednesday, April the 15th, 2020. I have on my scientific teacher shirt today because today's lesson is going to be one of science. You're right. I want to make sure you can see me. So I'm going to angle this here. All right, here we go. So today's lesson is going to focus on science, and we are going to be using our 5 senses. Now, our senses are, we have the sense of sight, we have the sense of hearing, we have the sense of smelling, we have the sense of touch, and we have the sense of taste. So we have 5 senses, and we use parts of our body for all of those 5 senses. All right? So now we know we need to ask a couple of questions about what we're going to be doing with our learning today. So the first is, where are we going? What in the world are we going to be learning? And what we're going to be learning today, boys and girls, go ahead and put those mirrors up for me, is I can use my 5 senses to describe the world around me. Again, that says I can use my 5 senses to describe the world around me. Well, right now, our world around us is our home. We're all practicing the social distancing, and our home is our world around us. So, if we know where we are going or what we're going to be learning today, we got to know how we're going to get there. This is our destination. This is where we're going. And here is how we're going to get there. I will find objects around my house using, that's right, your 5 senses: sight, hearing, smell, touch, and taste. So we're going to be able to find 5 things around our house using the 5 senses. But first, I thought that it would be a fun idea to read a book about the 5 senses. So we'll keep these here so we can keep reminding ourselves what we're doing. We're using our 5 senses to describe our world around us. And the world around us is our house. Now you're going to have a seesaw activity today where you're going to do a worksheet like this. And you're going to go on a 5 senses hunt for things around your house. Things that you can see, things that you can hear, something you can smell, something you can touch, and something you can taste. Now on Seesaw, you've got a couple of options. You can take a picture of your 5 objects that you find, and you can put those in your worksheet and send that to Mr. Baxter. Or you can draw a picture like Mr. Baxter did using the drawing tools on there. Or you can use that little text tool where you can just type in what the name of your objects were. But I really can't wait to see what yours were. And I'm going to show you my objects in just a second. But first I decided, let's go ahead and read a book about my 5 senses. All right? My 5 senses. So we know our 5 senses are sight, hearing, smelling, touching, and tasting. Let's read a book to see what they've got to say about our 5 senses. I'm going to slide our learning target and success criteria out of the way, and I'm going to go ahead and just get the book front and center. Mr. Baxter will be off the camera a little bit. All right, let me see how this looks. All right, there's My 5 Senses, and this is by Aliki. Now, right off the bat, they gave us a chart, and it says, I see. Look at all the different things we can see. Here it says, I hear. Look at all the different things we could hear. It means they make a sound. Here it says, I taste. Look at all these different items that they could taste. All toothpaste all the way down to, it looks like coffee. I smell. Looks like some yummy soup, cookies. And then the last is I touch. So we've got soft feathers. Looks like a prickly hedgehog. Maybe a light, soft balloon, a cold ice cube. So let's read through my 5 senses. And then we'll get into the objects that Mr. Baxter found on his scavenger hunt around his house, okay? I can see. I see with my eyes. That's right. I can hear. I hear with my ears. That matches. Our words and our pictures are matching. I can smell. I smell with my nose. That's right. I can taste. I taste with my tongue. You're right. I can touch. I touch with my fingers. Oh, look, he's got a fluffy bunny. I do all of this with my senses. I have 5 senses. When I see the sun or a frog or my baby sister, I use my sense of sight. I am seeing. You see how Mr. Baxter had to go back and reread to make it make sense? It's okay. Sometimes we make mistakes, but we go back and we fix it to make sure it looks right, sounds right, and makes sense. When I hear a drum or a fire engine or a bird, I use my sense of hearing. I am hearing. Now, what are they using when they're hearing? Your ears, that's right. When I smell soap or a pine tree or cookies just out of the oven, I use my sense of smell. I am smelling. What do we use to smell? Your nose, that's right, like Toucan Sam. When I drink my milk and I eat my food, I use my sense of taste. I am tasting using the tongue. All right, when I touch a kitten or a balloon or water, I use my sense of touch. I am touching. Sometimes I use all of my senses at once, and sometimes I use only one. I often play a game with myself. I guess how many senses I'm using at that time. When I look at the moon and the stars, I use one sense. If he's looking, then they're using the sense of seeing. When I laugh and play with my puppy, I use 4 senses. I see, hear, smell, and touch. Look like you're having a lot of fun with that puppy. When I bounce a ball, I use 3 senses. I can see the ball, I can hear, and I can touch. What part would they be hearing? That's right, they would hear the ball bouncing up and down. Sometimes I use more of one sense and less of another, but each sense is very important to me because it makes me aware. Wow, I bet that's a very important word. Aware is when we're aware, when we notice things around us and we can describe our world around us. That's what we're trying to do today. So our senses are going to be very important for us. To be aware is to see all there is to see. Hear all there is to hear. Smell all there is to smell. Taste all there is to taste. Touch all there is to touch. Wherever I go, whatever I do, every minute of the day, my senses are working and they make me aware. Look here, he's got something to hear, touch, smell, taste, and see. I hope you love this book, My Five Senses. It gave us a good look at what our five senses are and what parts of our body we use when we're using our senses. All right, so I told you that was where we were going. I can use my five senses to describe the world around me or to be aware, like our book just showed us. And how we're going to get there is I will find objects around my house using sight, hearing, smell, touch, and taste. All right, so I want to show you guys what Mr. Baxter found around his house. All right, I'm going to slide a table in here. And we'll take a look at some of the things that Mr. Baxter found. All right. Remember, your activity sheet is going to be on Seesaw. So I want you to watch the video today, and me reading the book, and then you'll see my five senses scavenger hunt, and then I want you to go find five things at your house. One thing that you can see, one thing you can hear, one thing that you can smell, one thing that you can touch, and one thing that you can taste. All right? So here are the five things that Mr. Baxter found. The first thing was using my sense of sight. I can see around my house, I have been seeing a lot of Mrs. Baxter. We are both socially distancing. We're quarantined here at the house. So I've been seeing a lot of Mrs. Baxter. And I tell you what, I love every day using my sense of sight to see my wife, Mrs. Baxter. The next one, boys and girls, was we're going to use our ears to hear. And you guys know that Mr. Baxter absolutely loves to play his what? His ukulele. Right, so what I added was a picture of my ukulele. Let's use our hearing sense to hear. That sound. I love it. So I could use my sense of hearing to hear my ukulele. All right. Next, we're using our nose for our sense of smell. This is one of Mr. Baxter's favorite smells. It brings back all kinds of memories. I drew a cup of coffee right there. Cup of coffee. Something about fresh brewed coffee makes me think about the morning time, makes me think about getting ready for the classroom and being excited for all the students to come walking in. It's just it's a very, very good smell to me. All right, next is my sense of touch. And just like the boy in the movie, come here. Hey, come here. I want to bring my sense. Come here. Come here. I want to bring over my sense of touch. Here was my sense of touch. The thing that I love to touch around my house is my doggy, Cosmo. Look at him. He's so soft, fluffy, furry. So I drew under the sense of touch right there, I drew a picture of my doggy, Cosmo. Oh, see, he's so soft. He likes to be touched too. And the very last sense that I wanted you to find something around your house is taste. And Mr. Baxter found hot sauce. All right? So the thing that I'm going to taste for you on camera is hot sauce. And what do we use to taste? Our tongue. You're exactly right. Just like Cosmo's using his tongue to taste me. All right, ready? Here we go. Hot sauce. I'm going to use my tongue. I don't want much. See there? Hot sauce. Here it goes. Ooh, ooh. Oh, I can definitely taste it. This is one of the times I think that I can use two of those senses. I'm using my sense of taste because it tastes spicy, and I think that I can use my sense of touch because when it touched my tongue, I can feel how spicy it is. Whew, whew, awesome. So, man, I thank you guys for joining me on our science lesson today for April the 15th, Wednesday. Where we were going today was I could use my five senses to describe the world around me. And how we got there is we found objects 5 objects around our house using all of our 5 senses: sight, hearing, smelling, touching, and tasting. Hope you guys have a wonderful time doing this science experiment. Baxter, out.